Have I got an interesting one for you guys. Now, I just got back from the gym. Yes, I'm gonna be wearing this today. Don't really feel like changing, but we get a cool one because I'm gonna be comparing the A7 IV against the OG A6000 when it comes to photography. And I want to see if you guys can tell the difference between, I guess, what you would call a professional full frame camera versus a beginner entry level APS-C camera. Now this camera is quite old. It's about 9 years old, I think, 2013 or 2014. So it is quite aged, whereas the A7 IV is like, what, less than a year old. So we're gonna see what this thing can do against that. Try and compare a very similar focal length, 50mm on APS-C, 85mm on full frame. It's about a 75 full frame, 85. So we'll see if you can see the difference. Comment below if you can notice a difference, but we need to head down to the Gold Coast because we're meeting Joanna down there. We've got to shoot beforehand as well, but yeah, this one's gonna be a fun one, so let's get into it. Let's go. And just before I get into it, we're gonna be hearing all the audio from the ECM B1M. Now, I just received it. I obviously bought it. It's like 600 Australian dollars. It's quite expensive, but I'm hoping the audio quality is really good because I'm not using my Rode VideoMic Pro Plus anymore. Gonna be using this Sony mic, so let me know if the audio sounds pretty decent out in the field as well. Okay, we better get down to Gold Coast. So the Sony A6000 was released in February 2014. It is an APS-C mirrorless camera with a 24 megapixel CMOS sensor. It can shoot up to 11 frames per second continuous in RAW photos with 1/4000th of a second shutter speed. It has 179 focus points, no internal stabilization, a 1.4 million dot EVF, a 921K dot 3-inch tilt screen, and it weighs a total of 344 grams. The Sony A7 IV was released in October 2021 and is a full-frame mirrorless camera. It has a 33 megapixel BSI CMOS sensor with 10 frames per second continuous RAW but compressed and 6 seconds uncompressed RAW. It can shoot with a 1/8000th of a shutter speed. It has 759 autofocus points, and it also has object tracking and continuous eye autofocus. It has internal IBIS, a 3.6 million dot EVF, a 1.03 million dot 3-inch fully articulating screen, and it weighs a total of 659 grams. The 80s have called. They want their outfit back.
They can't have it, it's mine.
Who are you? Cyndi Lauper or Can't Touch This? MC Hammer? So I'm gonna bring up some photos now and see if you can see the difference between camera A and camera B. Let me know in the comments below and explain why. Some of the key differences that I've seen so far between these two cameras is obviously that eye autofocus. Now that still has eye autofocus in this, but it's not eye autofocus continuous, it's eye autofocus single shutter. So essentially you can lock it on and it just locks that, that spot, and then you've got eye autofocus. The model moves or you move, it's going to be out of focus. This is continuous eye autofocus. The object tracking on here is phenomenal as well. So that is a big difference between these two cameras so far. Okay, so 85 on full frame and 50mm on APS-C are relatively equivalent. It's more like 75 and 85, but they're not really wide shots, but we're gonna be planning to do a wide shot here because you can see nice blue building, nice aqua sort of tealy sort of outfit. So this hopefully will look good. and hopefully she'll stand out enough from that background. Really depends on the colors in this as well, what I can push and pull in post. All right, let's get into it.
So are you like here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Hi, my name's Joanna and you can find me here.
So in this shot, I wanted to test the autofocus accuracy in high burst mode, because sometimes you do want some cool walking shots, just, you know, get that action and freeze that frame. It can sometimes look really cool. Plus, these have very similar performance when it comes to that high frame rate. So I think one of the biggest key differences when it actually came to photography and those moving shots is the autofocus. Now, the a7 IV has the newest autofocus technology, eye autofocus, object tracking. It tracked Joanna so much better than the a6000. Sure, the technology difference is insane. Like, the technology is moving so fast when it comes to autofocus within the last couple of years. If you stretch that to, you know, 7 to 10 years, there's a big difference between autofocus differences in these cameras. And the a7 IV did perform much better when it came to tracking Joanna when walking. So you might have guessed it by now, or maybe you might not have guessed it by now. What do you think? Which one is camera A and which one is camera B? Is camera A the a6000 and camera B is the a7 IV? What do you think? Comment below. So just to let you know, most of the shots that I actually did, I tried to do the exact same shot with the different camera in that very similar position. Obviously with the APS-C camera, I did have to move forward just a little bit to try and match that depth of field and that field of view. So which one do you actually think is camera A and which one do you think is camera B? Well, with YouTube compression, you probably might not actually see, and actually, to be honest, with on my screen, it was really hard to see unless I fully zoomed in. You could actually see the image quality. Obviously, the a7 IV has more resolution. It was generally just sharper because the autofocus was just absolutely smack bang almost every time. And camera A was the Sony a6000, camera B was the Sony a7 IV. I mean, I am very surprised by how good the Sony a6000 looks compared to the a7 IV. This is not saying that the a7 IV is not good. It's a brilliant camera when it comes to photography and videography. The a6000 just did extremely well, and obviously in experienced hands, you should be able to get very similar results regardless of what tools you have. You just got to know the limitations and obviously how to work around them. But wow. Congratulations to you guys if you actually guessed the camera A was a6000, and if you guessed it because there were some technical details that you did see, but it was very, very hard to tell. But I hope you enjoyed this video anyway, guys. But if you did, give it a thumbs up. That'd be absolutely amazing. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified when my next videos come out. On that, I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's get it.